This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. A beautiful night as interleague play rolls on in downtown St. Louis. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Seattle Mariners. And it's Creve Court Camera Photo Day. Game number 2 of this weekend series, and all the games right here on Fox Sports Midwest. A couple of the heroes from last night together for Photo Day. Pete Kozma scoring the winning run. Brock Peterson put the ball in play. Anytime you do that, well, good things may happen. And a big drop happened for St. Louis late in the game. Welcome to baseball with my partner tonight, Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're delighted to have you with us, and the Cardinals are playing very well. In particular here at home, this has been a fun homestand.
A 6-1 homestand. They took care of the Pirates, and last night they took care of Seattle. Now, it took them 10 innings to do it, and they did it, as you said, Dan, taking advantage of a defensive miscue.
And on the 13th of August, we saw that with Starling Marte. Remember this play? Routine off the bat of Descalso. He drops the baseball. That was late. The Cardinals made him pay. Alan Craig with a base hit. Descalso would score. Chambers the game-winning hit late. And the Cardinals had a walk-off win. They were desperate at that time for a victory, and they get it over Pittsburgh. Flash ahead to last night. And, again, it's the 13th. Friday the 13th. Why not win it this way? Pete Kozma scoring the game-winning run. And the Cardinals, in many ways, had no business winning that game, but somehow they find a way. Over the course of a season, if you're a winning team, you will have those kind of signature wins.
And the perfect team meeting to have is the one at home plate that they had here last night. An emotional victory for the Cardinals, and it just feels like in some ways they are playing their best baseball of the year.
And the Cardinals have one of their best right-handers going here tonight. He has been red hot on the mound. That's Michael Wacha. Closer look at the Cardinals rookie when we come back. Wacha finishing up his warm-up tosses in the bullpen. this season as a starter, Rick, very good record of 2-0.
And very good his last 3 outings. And those 3 outings against Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, 17 total innings, 8 hits, no runs, 12 strikeouts. He is pitching well against the teams that really matter. Tonight, he goes against Seattle, interleague play. Cardinals hoping for a series victory here tonight.
David Freese and the Cardinals will face a left-hander tonight in James Paxton. He's 1-0. Waka 3-0 overall. Mariners, Cardinals, Game 2 coming up.
Is having a big season, a breakout year. He was an all-star, maybe even an MVP. Yadier Molina in those talks as well. Both of them outstanding offensively, but they showed off their defense here last night.
Little chopper up the middle, and Carpenter keeps it on the infield. What a play by Matt Carpenter. A throw to the plate. They've got him hung up. Molina chasing him back. Matt Carpenter doing a little bit of everything tonight. Sensational heads-up play, Matt Carpenter. You just can't do it any better than what Matt Carpenter just did there. Up the middle, and Carpenter again diving for it from his knees. Oh! You talk about the play of the year. We had it earlier. He may have topped it with that one. Remarkable play from Matt Carpenter. Runner goes. Yachty, double play. Double play.
There's the Cardinals MVP candidate, Yadier Molina, showing you why.
Runner goes. Yachty again. Why? 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 Don't even test him. You'll get burned. They do it twice in this inning. The defense has stepped up big time tonight. Carpenter with a couple of great plays. Yachty, 2 caught stealings. Why not win it in the bottom of the ninth? This year, 65-82. The Cardinals are 86-61. There's a live look. Michael Wacha looks to lock in there when we come back. Right in the face of tonight's starter, Michael Wacha. He doesn't mind. He's in the big leagues. Wacha, the Cardinals tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. Baseball is brought to you by DraftMark Home Tap System. Fresh draft Budweiser now available from your fridge. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes also with us. Welcome inside Busch Stadium in St. Louis Cardinals baseball tonight as we get a look at Rick's Toyota keys to the game.
Cardinals will be looking for some right-handed production. Only one lefty in the lineup. That, of course, Matt Carpenter. But the Cardinals facing a left-handed pitcher at times has been a problem this year. So the right-handers need to show up tonight. Michael Wacha, off-speed command, very important for him. Has that very solid fastball, the great changeup, and a curveball to go with it. When his off-speed stuff is good, he is almost unhittable.
And it's Michael Wacha as our Kia starter tonight. This will be his 13th game he's appeared in. More comfortable as a starter, and that's what the Cardinals have him here for the stretch run.
Opponent's batting average just .210. He has been very, very good at this level, and not a surprise to folks that saw him in spring training. He spent most of the year at AAA just to get a little bit more refining, but he really made an impression in spring training. Was probably the Cardinals' best pitcher down there, and nice to have him here, and he is fitting in just fine in that rotation.
Well, Tom Schweiss is 100 years of age, and he's celebrating here at the ballpark. He wanted to see the Cardinals and Mariners on his birthday, and it's Miller, Gutierrez, and Seager. Morales, Ibanez, Saunders, Zunino, Ackley, and Paxton. Cardinals defense around the horn brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Holiday, Robinson, Beltran in the outfield. It's Freese and Cosma on the left side. Carpenter, Peterson on the right side. Yachty is behind the plate. Saw his great defense on display last night. First pitch is swung on and missed by Brad Miller. Better be able to contain those lefties when you face Seattle. A ton of left-handed bats.
A lot of switch hitters actually on the bench tonight. We saw Franklin and Almonte here last night, but He still have Morales in the middle of the lineup, but all kinds of lefties. So Wacha's changeup, I think, will be the neutralizer for him.
One pitch to Miller. Jammed, popped up, left side. Pete Kozma. Outfield grass and puts it away for the first out. Franklin Gutierrez. There are some on the bench and in this lineup for Seattle that have seen Michael Wacha this year. Playing in the Pacific Coast League, the affiliate for the Seattle Mariners, hooking up with the Memphis Redbirds. So a couple of guys have seen Michael Wacha and what he's all about. And with today's day and age of video, the internet, no scouting report goes unturned.
I always find it interesting that we focus on the big league stats, one hitter against one pitcher, when they may have faced each other 40 times in the minor leagues, or maybe another 30 times in winter ball. Often in winter ball, you play the same team a dozen times. And I think about the stats that I've seen for years about Darryl Strawberry and me, and yet I faced him, I would say 50 plus times in the minor leagues.
Is that right?
And it's never part of that package, but it's part of our history, me and him. And I think we kind of shortchanged that a bit.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Franklin Gutierrez. Overall batting .250, 7 home runs. He's driven in 18. He taps it foul. The Cardinals pulled out a victory last night, dramatic fashion. And on the other side, you wonder how Seattle bounces back from a tough loss, and I'm sure a game that they felt they should never have been in position to lose. Cardinals overlooked in that game, got good starting pitching again from Adam Wainwright and sensational defense.
We highlighted the defense in the open. If Matt Carpenter doesn't make that play up the middle, the Cardinals lose. If Yadi doesn't throw out 2 runners late in the game, the Cardinals lose. And we're not worried about extra innings because the game's over.
Swing and a miss. A strikeout at 87 miles an hour of Franklin Gutierrez. 2 up and 2 down.
Outstanding changeup by Wacha. Starts out in the middle of the plate, ends up off the plate. Good movement. The goal is for the changeup to look like a fastball as long as possible. And that's where you get the commitment early. You get the off-balance swings.
Cardinals said that they had banked the innings for Michael Wacha specifically in case they needed him down the stretch. They need him. And he has lived up to the hype here in September. He's been sensational. That looked like a little cutter, didn't it?
He doesn't really throw a cutter per se, or not that I'm aware of, but his basic fastball, because he's so downhill and on top, does cut a little bit. First pitch of the game did the same thing. It had that little run to it. So I think he's just a guy that is smart enough to know that a straight fastball is not a good fastball. Got to have some movement on it. And he just, whether he does that with finger pressure or perhaps throwing the outside of the ball, you can do it by kind of where you grip the baseball, just getting a little movement. There's the movement the other direction with the changeup.
2 balls and 1 strike on Seager. 22 home runs. The most on this team and in this lineup. Raul Ibanez with 27. There's the sinking action. That pitch at 94.
He thought it was a changeup because it was moving down, and he was so late that he just kind of waved at it. And that's, again, the disguised nature of the pitches with Wacha. Their pitcher, we're told, very similar in terms of his ability to disguise his pitches.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Wacha. He looks sharp early on. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. For Seattle and St. Louis, Mike Matheny rolls out this lineup with some bench guys getting a start tonight. It's Carpenter, Robinson, Holiday, then Beltran, Molina, and Freese. Brock Peterson is homered off this lefty. Saw him in the minor leagues. Then Cosma and the pitcher Michael Wacha. Meanwhile, defensively for Seattle, their defense cost them last night. Ibanez, Saunders, Gutierrez. In the outfield, it's Seager and Miller on the left side of the infield with Ackley and Morales on the right side. Zunino is behind the plate. We saw him homer in game 1 of this series, and it's the lefty James Paxton getting the start for Seattle.
24-year-old left-hander, 6'4", 220, averaging over a strikeout an inning in the minor leagues, has made 1 big league start, and that was against Tampa Bay. He's throwing 96, 97, and the thing with Paxton is he has a motion where there's a lot of glove that hides his arm delivery. So you see the glove up in your face, and then you see the arm come through afterwards, and he has a big overhand curveball, and very tough to pick the ball up out of his hand.
The Cardinals last night, before they won in dramatic fashion, had left-handed hitters, Matt Carpenter being one of them, but back-to-back in the game that faced Oliver Perez, and that was Carpenter just studying the warm-up tosses of James Paxton. But the little things many times get overlooked. A lefty-lefty matchup, a tough matchup, and yet a pair of walks to eventually get that pass ball in the win.
On base percentage, been a big highlight of Carpenter's year. Doubles, triples. His defense last night, his base running, scoring 114 runs. I mean, you name it. He's just doing a lot of things well. But I think you're right, especially late in the game. Getting on base, that's key. Close games, he's had the ability to just get on. When he gets on, the Cardinals score. I mean, it's not that simple, but it sure seems that way.
A lot of fans that will ask us, could Matt Carpenter play shortstop? I don't think I'd put anything past him. I doubt that we could see him every day play there, but I didn't think that he'd get to 2 balls that he got to last night either. I like him where he is.
There's a different athletic cadence to playing shortstop. There's a kind of way shortstops feel that is unique.
Just punches it to the left side.
I wouldn't put him past him, but that's not probably in his strength.
And that's what I think too. Play made by Kyle Seager. He was playing well off the line in third, and it brings in Shane Robinson. Shane is hitting .270, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs. By the way, Michael Wacha is up to 20 2/3 straight scoreless innings after his scoreless top of the first. So the rookie scoreless streaks, Wacha, that's updated. Segrist 19 1/3, Rosenthal 10 2/3. By the way, Segrist, it seemed like he wasn't sharp last night, which is crazy to say that. But it was the first time.
He gave up a hit.
Rick, it was first time all season he gave up 2 hits in an inning. 2 hits in an inning, and we're wondering, well, he wasn't quite sharp last night, but no runs.
Doing the quick math on those 3, not hard to do. 50 innings from rookies with no runs in September.
Amazing. 2 ground ball outs, and it brings in Holiday. Holiday was at the plate last night when that ball scooted away. Good numbers for Matt. Solid year. 285, 19 homers. He's driven in 82. Iwakuma last night was very tough. The starter for the Mariners. He's now 4th in the American League in ERA under 3. An opponent's average is 193, and we saw him very tough early on in the ballgame.
Changed speeds very well here last night. Speaking of changing speeds,
good pitch, 0-2.
Straight change from Paxton.
Another great crowd here tonight, well over 40,000. Cardinals are trending towards 3.4 million. Good to see the return of photo day here at the ballpark. A lot of fans arrived early for that. Here's a 1-2. And Holiday hits it down the right field line and foul.
And what do we call photo day, Dan?
Tito Landrum Day?
That's right. Well, we don't. I do. I guess I call it that.
And why?
Because Tito lived for this day. Fans had a chance to get close to players and take pictures, and Tito would be out there. We'd be trying to start the game, and Tito wouldn't be finished getting the last fan that came in.
A strikeout of Holiday in a 1-2-3 inning. Photo day here at the ballpark. Brought to us by our friends at Creve Core Camera. Starting pitching. It all began with Joe Kelly on Friday night against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then one time through the rotation, they were outstanding.
Outstanding after a rough road trip where a lot of folks were concerned about this Cardinal starting rotation. They'd gone through the rotation a couple of times, and really Joe Kelly was the only one pitching well. Even Adam Wainwright had a couple of rough starts, but boy, they have just turned it around. Waka's been a big part of that. Wainwright's back on track. Lance Lynn was very good his last outing.
And a ground ball that's hit to Brock Peterson. Steps on the bag. 4 up, 4 down.
I think Lance Lynn especially thrilled with his last game. He went 6 innings, did not give up an earned run, had 10 strikeouts in that game. And Lance was really on the edge a bit, had struggled for a number of starts in a row, was winless over 6 starts, I believe, and really just kind of answered the pressure to pick things up a bit.
Cincinnati has already posted a win, 7-3. Homer Bailey picked up victory number 11. He's 11-10. The save for Chapman, number 36. Hellwig, the St. Louis, and took the loss 1-4. Chu and Votto with home runs. Joey Votto up to 24. Speaking of home runs, here's Raul Ibanez. At the age of 41, he's put up big numbers again this year.
37 home runs after the age of 40.
It's amazing. I mentioned to Al last night, I am shocked that he's still wearing a Seattle uniform. You don't think somebody could use those kind of numbers right now down the stretch? A lefty off the bench as we compare him to Stan the Man. Ibanez hits it sharply but positioned perfectly. Matt Carpenter on the outfield grass. 2 down.
had a chance to connect with Ibanez a couple of different times, and he's just such a solid guy. Everybody likes him. I think Seattle doesn't want to give him up because of the influence he's having on the younger players. First of all, he's an example of the fact that you keep yourself in shape. You can play this game till you're 40 or beyond, but he knows how to play the game the right way, too.
Past Waka, but there is Kozma. 8 pitches here in the top of the second. Stadium. It's a weekend set against the Chicago Cubs. A cooler bag, growth poster, and the final day of the season. As always, you'll get a free voucher for a complimentary ticket in 2014 and take home the 2014 schedule. And that is when the Cardinals close out the regular season. The Cubs, the final weekend of the regular season. Here's Carlos Beltran. The Cardinals have kept him healthy. And a tremendous signing by the organization. Carlos in year number 2 of his deal.
Should mention that we are all Cub fans today. Everybody gets that right in the scoreboard watching 101. Pirates hosting the Cubs. Chicago off to an early 1-0 lead in that game. I love scoreboard watching. Some do, some don't. I thought it was terrific that Matt Holliday, when asked by Jim Hayes, do you scoreboard watch? He said, absolutely. Of course I do.
As a player, did you do it?
Oh, yeah.
I think anybody that cares is doing it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between watching it and being overwhelmed by it and being focused or centered on it. But
that'll get out of play.
Let's face it, Matt Holliday plays left field. He's at the plate for about 2 minutes every night, and maybe 3 balls are hit to him that take maybe another minute. So he's got 4 minutes of intense focus. You got to be able to kind of take some things in the rest of the 3.5 hours. It's survival. It's mental survival to be able to do that. And then you have to come back and focus. I think of Carlos Beltran as a very focused player.
And Beltran pulls it foul.
Actually, a book called The Mental Game of Baseball that I highly recommend, and used it in coaching. And Harvey Dorfman is the author of that book, and he was kind of the team sports psychologist for the Oakland A's, a friend of LaRussa's, and one of his deals is the difference between a hard focus and a soft focus.
Hard hit ball, but that'll be caught.
And his belief is that baseball players have an extraordinary ability to go from soft focus to hard focus quickly and then back out of it again, to where you kind of know what's going on, but you're not tense about it. But then you can just zero in on the baseball, zero in on the catcher's glove to an extraordinary degree, and then back out again. And I think that is a gift, and it's not easy to do.
And you also have personal issues that you deal with, like Yadier Molina and his mother, and then try to focus for 3 hours when you get out there between the white lines.
Wife has a baby. Trevor Rosenthal, Chloe, very happy young man, as he should be. Congratulations to him, but that's, we know that upsets your normal routine.
Oh yeah, your sleep. As Yadi grounds out to Seager, and it brings in David Freese with 2 outs and nobody on. Eight home runs. He's driven in 55, and the average at 260. One of the loudest ovations during camera day, as all the players were introduced and some were interviewed, but one of the loudest right there, number 23, the hometown hero, David Freese. Falls behind 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Waves at it. And 2 strikeouts for James Paxton. Beautiful night here in St. Louis. To you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. The Cardinals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Zunino, Ackley, and Paxton for the Seattle Mariners. The first pitch is taken high. 21 2/3 scoreless innings put together here by Michael Wacha. And coming off an 8-pitch second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Zunino homered off of Wainwright in the 5th inning, had a couple of hits here yesterday. In fact, Seattle had 10 hits in the game and just 1 run. Cardinal pitching spread out those hits, but Zunino hit a hanging cutter from Wainwright, and he hit it a long way too.
Sure did. Dealing with wrist and hand issues may have come into play. That pass ball that led to the game winner, but as it was explained to me by some of the folks with Seattle, that wrist and hand injury wasn't hurting him when he was swinging the bat. It's a good point.
I haven't had a chance to meet him. Played in the minor leagues. The Cardinals had a catcher named Gary Zunino, and what are the chances that there would be 2 catchers named Zunino that wouldn't be related somehow?
Let's hit into the upper deck. Not quite Mike Laga, I don't think. Just bounced down, but that went into the upper deck behind us. That's as high as we see a foul ball go.
Agreed.
And Mike Laga, there's the walk, but Busch Stadium too, the only man to hit one literally out of the ballpark. Toyota Cardinals live tomorrow, 12:30. Countdown continues. The greatest postseason moments, number 15. That's at 12:30 with the pregame show. Will come your way at 1 o'clock with game coverage. Shelby Miller, and he'll go against Erasmo Ramirez, who's 5-1. And a strike right down the middle. 0-2 to Dustin Ackley.
Leadoff walk by Waka. That is not very typical for him. Not only is he a power pitcher, but he's also a strike thrower.
And we've seen he's also one of the fastest workers in baseball. Love to see that. Not a lot of emotion. Mouth shut, ears open, and he's willing to listen. He has not been in awe of this position that he's in. Remember, it was just a little over a year ago that he was here with his parents being introduced to Mike Matheny and the coaching staff after he had signed after being drafted out of College Station, Texas A&M. The change up, and it just missed.
Funny, veteran players will try to mold the attitude of young players. We'll take a look at that last changeup just off the plate, and they want you to be not in awe, but they also want you to respect the moment, and they want you to not be arrogant about it. And there's a fine line.
Back-to-back walks on pitches that barely missed, in particular to that at bat with Ackley, and now it's the pitcher Paxton. There's no doubt, we saw it last night, Cardinals have a definite advantage in interleague play with their pitchers swinging the bat. The fact that their DH is at first base in Morales, that's pushed foul.
Iwakuma's first at bat was not very pretty. He got better.
Kind.
He got better though. They pitched very well. No doubting that. He struck out the first time. He struck out the second time, and he grounded out. Minor victory the third time. But you can't blame him.
You know, Tony La Russa used to make concerted effort to give his pitchers time for BP. He figured over the course of 162 games that would mean a handful of wins or losses. How his pitchers handle the bat. Mike Matheny has tried to do that. They do it a lot of times behind the scenes. 1-2. And that's pushed foul and a strikeout. Number 3 tonight for Michael Wacha. I mean, just think about that right there, Rick. You're talking about the potential of second and third, 1 out, and the top of your lineup coming up, and now it's first and second and 1 out.
I agree with you. It's a huge advantage, so let's get rid of the DH. I agree with you, Dan. Is that what you were saying?
I am in. However, if I ran the Players Association, not a chance. Those guys make too much money. Longevity for careers. Would it shock you to see Carlos Beltran go to the American League next year?
No,
not at all. Save those knees and those legs, but still keep his bat in a lineup. Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. There was the changeup again.
That's the reaction you want. Sees fastball, commits. Out on that front foot and out ahead of the pitch.
One thing Wacha's been able to do is that changeup has given him the potential of getting a ground ball. A lot of ground balls against Wacha. Then you think about the double play. 1-1 pitch. 1-2.
You know, your point, Dan, back to the point about pitchers not hitting, and I know folks are going to not like what I'm saying here, and they're going to say we're just making an excuse for pitchers, but a lot of times pitchers' arms are tender throughout the course of a year, and if you take too much batting practice, that's not necessarily good for your pitching, and you have to have a balance for that. I know folks will say, wah, it's not that hard. You're pitching, you're playing a kid's game, get over it. And you can say that, but I'm telling you, it is a fact that a normal relief pitcher, or a starter for that matter, will feel good, 1 out of every 4 times. And something's tender in his arm. And overswing, especially when you're not very good at it, could create some kind of strain in your elbow and your shoulder that might not be worth it.
So I'm going to have you go down after the game tonight, and I want you to tell the starters on the next road trip, don't bring your golf clubs.
Well, they don't miss the golf ball for some reason because it's not moving. And the golf club is a lot lighter, but your point is well taken.
Thank you. Might get you in trouble before it's all said and done.
Well, there are some baseball people that would say what you just said.
Sure. There's a line drive and a base hit into right field. They'll hold up the runner at third. 1 hop throw and a strike to Yadier Molina from Carlos Beltran.
So the sack not working.
Yeah.
Cost him a run. Perhaps.
Franklin Gutierrez will be the hitter with the bases loaded.
Carlos has always had a very strong arm. Kind of picks his spots too. Not going to air out a throw that he doesn't have to. He's not out there to just show off his arm. A lot of young outfielders will do that. We've seen Puig throw the ball as hard as he can in some direction constantly. That's what he does. But Beltran is a little older, a little wiser.
1 out, bases loaded. Gutierrez struck out swinging first time up. Oh, 0-2.
Challenged him with a couple of fastballs in his at-bat yesterday. Gutierrez smoked a fastball. In fact, he had a really good swing at a pretty good fastball. And that came from Segrist. And we know how hard he throws. So I thought the Cardinals might give him more of a steady diet of off-speed pitches today.
Swing and a miss. It's a strikeout of Gutierrez, and the biggest of the night from Michael Wacha. Second in the inning, 4th in the game. Gutierrez is now 0 for 2 with the bases loaded this season.
And it is the changeup. You can see the almost the claw grip, the 3-finger grip on the changeup of Wacha and the downward motion. set up by those first 2 fastballs. Nice work.
Now it's Seager. Struck out his first time up. And a ground ball that's pulled foul. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Seattle, the worst in the American League, and in general, runners in scoring position, 100 points below St. Louis coming into this series. That's a high strike. He'll take it. Seager, by the way, is 2 for 4 with the bases loaded this year, 7 RBIs. But Mike Kawaka has him 0-2. What a job it would be by the 21-year-old to get out of this jam. He would love to strike out the side. 40,000 plus. Ready to cheer him on. 1-2.
Pretty classic way to set up a hitter is to throw the high fastball, then follow it with the changeup down. And because it's classic, Kyle Seager is aware of that. And so he may be trying to stay back on that changeup and just poke it the other way.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Out of play. We'll do it again. Seager has been in this spot a lot this year. This count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, over 103 at bats. And he's hitting 190 in this count and 191 in this spot with runners on. The 25-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina. Got him. Strikes out the side. That shows you something there. Michael Wacha. Back-to-back Ks with the bases loaded. Seattle doesn't score. The Plaza Tire Service replay. What a job by Wacha. We're scoreless here in St. Louis. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Dan. Brock was born in Centralia, Washington, grew up a big Mariners fan, said he really liked the Randy Johnsons and the Ken Griffey Juniors, but his favorite player was Jay Buhner, something about the shaved head and the swinging for the seats. He said as a kid he went to see a lot of Mariners game. The one that stood out, 1995, late September, Vince Coleman hit his first career grand slam to lead a Mariner comeback, guys.
Yeah. Vince Coleman in Seattle.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had a video, I guess, we had on the pregame show not that long ago that showed him in a Seattle Mariners jersey, and I don't even remember him. as a Mariner.
He was part of the team that had the dramatic win over the Yankees that scored Ken Griffey Jr., some believe one of the most famous plays in their franchise history in the playoffs, that he scored from first base, and you see him as part of the pile-on.
Oh, Vince would be in the middle of that.
And he was.
Fun. I mean, always laughing, always in a good mood. I mean, he was just he would just infect a whole clubhouse with the kind of this, I don't want to say arrogance again, but it's close to that. I mean, there's just a confidence that just exuded from Vince Coleman, the way he played and the way he acted.
Peterson to Gutierrez in right field for out number 1. It's a shame for Vince Coleman and for the Cardinals at the time that he wound up leaving St. Louis, and he's called that the biggest mistake of his professional career.
He's very open about that.
Things didn't work out in New York for him. Bounced around a bit. Here's Pete Kozma, one of the heroes from last night, scoring that winning run. His average at .219, 1 home run. He's driven in 34. That home run was the opening first series of the season, the opening series against Arizona on the road. Breaking ball in the dirt.
We see Tim Conroy every once in a while, a former Cardinal pitcher. Tim and I took Vince Coleman golfing the first time he'd ever golfed in his life. He was in his mid to late 20s, never had played. And the first swing we took him on the course, he actually stepped into the ball like you would a pitched ball. So it was kind of like a Happy Gilmore swing. And he swung and missed. By the end of the day, he was hitting 3 woods about 240 yards, and now he's a scratch golfer.
It's amazing.
Just an incredible athlete.
You said that at Mike Matheny's tournament in the foursome in front of you was Jim Edmonds.
Yes, and he had a nice swing from the right side. Very nice swing.
Doesn't swing left-handed, but right-handed as a golfer. That's back to Paxton as he makes the play. They tell us this is supposed to be one of the best Twitter polls of the year.
Oh, I can't wait.
Who is your favorite Mariner? Wow. Wow.
Wow. Give me a second to absorb this. This is going to take me a while. Ponce de Leon, Christopher Gilligan, Captain Crunch, Captain Hook, Popeye. Oh, boy.
Big fan of Captain Crunch, I can tell you that. 4 kids, Captain Crunch. Count me in.
You know how I like to predict how our fans are going to vote on the Twitter poll? I'm not going there with this one.
Oh, the last time you and Al heated debate over the type of ice cream
yeah,
one should enjoy.
And this question is just below that one.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with Gilligan myself.
Walker gets the first hit of the night. Gilligan was carefree, happy guy. Can't go wrong there. Base hit from Michael Wacha.
Well, the first hit comes a couple innings early for the Cardinals. They've been no-hit a couple of times in this homestand through 5. I felt that coming again. Off the end of the bat, Paxton has to try to backhand it and flip it at the same time, and a tough play for a left-handed pitcher.
Do we have a write-in on the AT&T Twitter poll?
I don't think we can, but do you have another idea? You'd like to add something?
I'm
Your
thinking,
favorite Mariner?
I'm thinking Love Boat.
Captain Stubing?
Thank you very much. He's a meticulous dresser. I think you have a couple of those blazers. So when are you back on radio, Rick? Not soon enough?
I'm thinking about next inning.
Here is Matt Carpenter.
I'm going to run over there and ask Al his answer to that trivia question.
Well, you missed a couple of doozies from old Al last night. You missed all the fun.
Sorry, I missed him.
1-1 pitch. Al was telling us all about the different strokes of swimming that he enjoys.
I'll have to check my DVR.
Did you childproof it?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I think my kids childproofed it. Yes.
We understand Popeye and Captain Crunch are in the lead right now, but Gilligan just behind. And I know you really want us to keep you updated. We certainly will. There's no doubt about that, Rick.
It's okay, little buddy.
Oh, the pitcher running at first base, Walker. Morales is off the bag. Puts him in a better spot to potentially get some action here off the bat of Matt Carpenter.
Favorite time to pick somebody off, especially a pitcher. Do a little play with the first baseman. They would pick the side of their jersey, and although he's playing behind, the minute you lift your leg, he starts to come in behind the runner, and you lift your leg and then do your normal move to first base. He sneaks in behind. So you got to make sure as the runner that doesn't happen. You got to make sure he's going home. You're not trying to steal the base.
Mets take it high. Video game that puts you in the owner's suite. It's now available free on iPhone and iPad. Build your stadium. Make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free. Data and usage rates may apply. Something exciting. 2 on, and here is Shane Robinson.
Gavin McLeod, was that his name?
Yes.
Is your favorite Marin?
I think so. It's my write-in vote. And I'm allowed. Robinson grounded out to short first time up. I don't care what you say, Rick.
Clearly.
Little bouncer left side. And Robinson is out by about a half step, if that, hustling down the line. Cardinals strand 2. They do pick up their first hit. No score. September 15th. Kids 48 inches and under with a game ticket will also get the free Six Flags ticket. There's ice cream that's free before the game for the kids while supplies last. After the game, you can run the bases, just like the Cardinals on the field. So bring the kids down. Should be great weather, and hopefully the Cardinals are talking about a sweep. Jump ahead to the 4th inning. It's Morales, Ibanez, and Saunders. Kendrys Morales grounded out to first in his first plate appearance.
One of the strangest injuries you're ever going to want to hear about in sports, where he hit a walk-off grand slam and broke his leg at home plate as part of the celebration. I mean, just such a, almost just an awful story, because at the time he was hitting so well, his career was on the uptick, and it really set him back. It was not a minor injury. It happened 2010. You go from the elation of a walk-off grand slam.
That takes a big hop over the glove of Peterson and into right field. Leadoff base hit. Remember Martin Gramatica? He was a kicker in the NFL, and he celebrated after a kick and suffered an odd injury. Obviously, Morales is. It's not just the injury. I'm sure there's a little embarrassment with that as well.
Kevin Coughlin also comes to mind. He was Rookie of the Year for Miami. And they put a pie in his face after a game when he was being interviewed, and either tore an ACL, something in his knee, and he was out for 6 months. And he's really never been the same player since then.
Raul Ibanez grounded out to second sharply, first time up. Interesting how the Cardinals play this now with a runner at first. Remember, Carpenter was about 10 yards back on the outfield grass with Ibanez up his first time up. Hit it sharply to him. And here, if you get a ground ball to David Freese, it looks like Pete Kozma would have to turn the double play.
That last swing, by the way, we look at the way the Cardinals do defend Ibanez, very, very late. So I would be careful about thinking that he's going to pull Michael Wacha. He's only hitting .217 since the All-Star break.
1-1 pitch. Out of play.
He does have kind of that bail and whale hack, though, doesn't he? Just kind of opens up his front half and just lets her rip. Bat a little slower than it used to be. But at 41, you're entitled.
Remember Zamaya of Detroit? He had a sore wrist. He was playing too much Guitar Hero. And I'm being serious.
I've heard of that one, too.
It's a music-based video game. That was back in 2006. Good changeup and a strikeout of Ibanez. Already 6 strikeouts from Michael Wacha, and he's only in the 4th inning.
That speed not there for Ibanez. Kind of a slow, dragging swing through the zone. Changeup. And perhaps a slow swing because he was trying to slow it down to make sure he wasn't out ahead of it.
Michael Saunders grounded out to short, first time up.
One of the things that young kids, when you go to the Cardinal camps that we have during the summer, Scott Terry for years has done a great job with those camps. One of the things that we like to teach the kids is that the power comes from bat speed, not from strength and not from having the bigger, heavier bat. It's bat speed. Just as a pitcher throwing hard comes from arm speed. Scott does a great job with those camps.
He's very technical, isn't he, on the mechanics of throwing, not just pitchers, but position players as well. And he teaches over at All-Star Academy. And it's not just Scott Terry, but Scott Cooper is over there, Matt Whiteside, and they have some of the best young teams in the Midwest. The St. Louis Gamers. They have been putting out college athletes and drafted players time and again, and their complex is right off of Highway 44 in Big Bend, and it is state of the art.
Well, I tell everybody my nephew pitches at Cornell, was flown out here twice last year. My brother flew him out just so he could get lessons from Scott Terry.
High fly ball
all the way from New York.
Sign him up. Incredible package that includes overnight accommodations, tickets to a weekend home game, Louisville Slugger bat, and a $10 Brewhouse credit. Book today, 314-655-1234, or visit stlouisarch.hyatt.com. Hyatt Regency St. Louis at the Arch. You're more than welcome. It's Holiday, Beltran, and Molina for the Cardinals. People forget, Rick, that Scott Terry was a former infielder and then was moved to being a pitcher. You talk about Scott Terry. His son played college baseball, and again Scott teaching over at All-Star. Holiday struck out on a pitch that he thought was inside his first time up. 0 for 1. Two-one pitch. Rick, you go back to 3 games against Milwaukee, and then the ball game last night. Basically, the Cardinals' offense non-existent for the first 6 innings of all those games.
Hard to understand why that would be, and one of the things that Cardinals have been good at all year long, and we have a number of examples of it, where they just either couldn't figure out a pitcher early on, and then John Mabry, Benji Molina spot something, and they have a little conversation with players in the dugout, and the next thing you know, they start maybe taking them the other way or having deeper counts or swinging at the first pitch, whatever that adjustment is. But right now the Cardinals are having a hard time picking up the baseball against his left-hander.
Third strikeout by the lefty. Beltran is digging in. And log on to FoxSportsMidwest.com. Read Stan McNeil, Ben Fredrickson, up to date on everything that's happening in the college football scene, in particular with Missouri, all at FoxSportsMidwest.com. And by the way, speaking of Missouri, congratulations to Storm and Norman. Norm Stewart will have a statue dedicated to him this evening, if not already, at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Impact that he has made on so many lives after being affected with cancer. Started Coaches versus Cancer, which has become one of the leaders in the fight against cancer, raising money, millions of dollars, and that swung on and missed. So Norm Stewart is to be congratulated for his efforts and all the money that he has raised in the fight against cancer. Beltran pops it up. This time of night, tough to pick up the baseball. No problem there, though, for Brad Miller. 2 away.
Yadier Molina steps to the plate. It kind of makes me think about what Yadi was doing about 4 hours ago. Very early today, before kind of the camera day was set up, he was at home plate along with Mike Matheny, instructing Tony Cruz, Audrey Perez, and they were having all the young catchers throw, and Molina and Matheny kind of taking turns, and that was at 2:45 actually this afternoon.
Wow.
So very early today, a lot of work being done right around home plate. You think about Yadi and all the innings that he's logged, and he's out there coaching, literally coaching and teaching early this afternoon. A lot of festivities are going to happen after, but there's Matheny talking about the footwork. There's Yadi coaching up Perez and Cruz. And he's doing that with some seriousness, too. He's not just unhappy to be doing that. He's glad to pass along what Dave Ricketts first taught him.
On top of a classic, only at McDonald's. Michael Wacha and the Cardinals scoreless here in the top of the 5th. And once again, it's another pitcher's duel here in Game 2 of this series. The Twitter poll Look at the bottom of the graphic. They do listen to us.
I always thought there were two B's in Stubing, but I'm glad that Captain Stubing got a vote. Gilligan, I guess I came in second. Captain Crunch. But voting is not closed yet, so vote early, vote often.
That's when you know you're getting late into the season, when you're trying to figure out who your favorite Mariner is.
So that was just an update, is all that was.
Right.
That wasn't the final tally.
Nothing official.
Come on, Gilligan.
Base hit out to left. It's a good looking beard right there, huh?
Looks like he was at Gettysburg. Doesn't it?
Gettysburg, Duck Dynasty.
There you go.
I saw Willie Robertson's beard up close, sitting right next to him. Unique character. Not sure I'd put it up there with my visits with Red, Ozzie, or Brett Hall, but he was sitting in that seat.
In the Hall of Fame third. You've had some very good visitors. I think
Red, fun.
I don't know how I could pick a favorite, but I love the moment where you were interviewing Red while Brock Peterson was making his major league debut. That's one of my favorite moments of the season, actually. Red will be at Whitey's foundation event on Sunday evening. I'll be a part of that.
Are you emceeing that?
I'm emceeing. Bob Gibson will be there, and got 20 former Cardinals, most of whom live in the area. And the Whitey Herzog Foundation, for those who don't know, does great work building fields in the area.
Wow.
Really been a heartbeat of his. And that's a bad walk.
So the first two have reached here in the fifth. And again, Waka having to pitch out of trouble as he walks Paxton, who was willing to give him an out. Now it's Brad Miller. Yeah, Whitey's been doing that for a number of years, and not a lot of attention has been paid towards that. And he's not out touting that, but he is to be commended for what he's done for our community. There, the bunt is down, and Waka will go to first and gets the shore out. Sacrifice is good by Brad Miller.
Miller looks like he blew a tire a bit. Last couple of steps to first base. He runs really well. Waka doing what the pitcher should do. He's looking about getting an advanced runner first and decides not. Almost waits a bit too long. And then that last step by Miller. Don't know if he hit his heel. Got the bunt down, but the trainer's going to follow him down and see if he could continue. Miller really very grateful for the tutelage of Brendan Ryan.
Now with the Yankees, that's hammered out to left field, and it's a 2-run lead for the Seattle Mariners. That'll go all the way to the wall. Gutierrez with an RBI double. He had struck out his previous 2 times. That brings in Ackley and Paxton. 2-0 Seattle.
Middle in. Very similar to the swing we saw from Gutierrez here last night. Just jumped on that pitch.
So he's in scoring position, and now it's Kyle Seager. Gutierrez and Seager combined have struck out 4 times in this ballgame. That's tapped foul. It was back-to-back Ks in the third with the bases loaded, only 1 out. Struck out Gutierrez on a changeup, and then inning was over as he struck out Seager, elevated a fastball. Here's an 0-2 pitch. That's in the dirt, 1-2. Just had a gentleman tweet at me, Rick, a picture of Norm Stewart with his statue at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, and you can see that at Danny Mac TV, and see that picture of Storm and Norman, who's in good health right now. Well, that's been in question with Norm here the last couple of months. He's been through a lot, but feeling much better. His whole family was there. John Sunvold spoke at the ceremony, among others, some of those Missouri greats. So congratulations to Norm Stewart, one of my favorites. Trying to elevate that pitch, and it goes to a full count.
Some control issues all of a sudden this inning for Michael Wacha. He had just 65 pitches through 4, which is right about on time. Now up to 78 with just 1 out here in the 5th inning.
3-2, and he tried to go with a breaking ball and threw it high. So 2 walks in this inning alone, 4 in the game. Derek Lilliquist out to visit, and that'll get the bullpen busy. I think we've noticed with Wacha, Rick, Cardinals really walk a, no pun intended, but walk a fine line with him, because when he runs into issues, it seems like the rails, the train on the rails gets off there pretty quick.
And the command of off-speed pitches that we talked about is one of the keys to the game, is really what comes into question. When that's not an issue, he breezes through. But when he needs to throw a curveball behind in the count, it's not there. And the changeup, I think, is. I think the changeup doesn't really leave him very often, but
signature pitch, but used to it.
Curveballs under stress are different than curveballs to the third hitter in an inning when you've struck out the first 2. They just are. They're just, it's a different feel. You can kind of afford to be a little more aggressive with it and not try to paint it so much. But when you're behind in the count and you've got to throw a sharp one to the back door, that's a different pitch to throw. That last pitch there to Seager was not a quality pitch from Wacha, who throws so many quality pitches, including a lot of fast ones.
Paxton at 96, Wacha 96. There's that good changeup there, 0-2. Yeah, the curveball really seems to be a work in progress still.
Yeah.
One and 2. Scoreless streak comes to a close in this inning. 24, longest by a rookie for the Cardinals since '89. Ken Hill, 24 innings. Ken Hill's son, a very good football player. There's your ground ball and foul. Well, pitch count has gotten up there with the 4 walks. It's at 84. Remember, in his first start back in the rotation for St. Louis, only 80 pitches in a start against Cincinnati. Last time out, a lot deeper. You get a look at Sam Freeman getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. Here's a 1-2. Hit out of play.
You talked about banking the innings of Michael Wacha, and if the Cardinals get a chance to play deep into October, which they would love to do, and certainly a very strong possibility that they could do that. And if that is the case, you're wondering how the bank has considered those possible withdrawals of innings. And you know, 5-inning game every once in a while for Wacha wouldn't be a bad thing. And I think when you look ahead to the bottom of the 5th inning, Wacha, the 4th batter for St. Louis, I think that's why you've got to have Sam Freeman up and ready.
Has Walker shown the Cardinals enough that if they go deep in the postseason play, he's one of your starters?
Could be.
The fly ball out to right. Catch made by Beltran. And again, he shows off the arm. Take a look at the Head and Shoulders whiff package, and 6 Ks tonight. Number of those on the changeup for Michael Wacha.
Really his signature pitch. He has the ability to get hitters off balance after throwing the high fastball, the running fastball. And Wacha has had a couple of strikeouts on fastballs here tonight. That one down in the zone, this one up in the zone. But for the most part, it's the changeup where guys are just on that front foot, not seeing the ball well, and can't keep their hands back. 2 runs would be a bit of a victory in this inning after things started kind of going in the wrong direction. 4 base runners in the first 5 batters this inning, and the only out was given to them on a sacrifice bunt by Brad Miller.
That'll be the one of the 4 walks he's kicking himself over. Most definitely. Not that you want to walk anybody, but that's the one that stands out. 0-2 on Ibanez. Struck out on a changeup back in the 4th and is also grounded out sharply to second. Hit out of play.
Right on the edge here if Wacha's able to retire Ibanez about whether or not you send him out for the 6th or not. He's at 90 pitches. Again, batting 4th.
Misses in, 2-2. 92 pitches, and this has been the toughest inning for Michael Wacha. 27 pitches.
Worked hard in that 3rd inning, stranded the bases loaded there.
Strikeout number 7, but the Mariners get to him with an RBI double to the wall and left by Gutierrez to score 2. At Busch Stadium, Southeast Missouri State Redhawks and the Southern Illinois Salukis. They'll play in the Busch Stadium College Classic presented by Southeast Missouri Health. That's on Saturday, September 21st. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/football. So Billy Finley is going to be one busy man in his crew. Goes from baseball to football and then back to baseball, ready for the postseason.
They're all hard workers in his crew. We've seen them really busy. Last year, it seems last year, the year before, they had some incredibly rough rain issues to deal with at bad times. And they worked so hard, so many long nights. I believe they set a record last year for most times taking the tarp on and off in the history of this stadium.
That's right.
And I don't know why they keep such. I guess they should keep tabs of such things.
New shortstop is in.
Triun fell, and Miller did do something on that last couple of steps on a sacrifice bunt that we noticed, so he's being replaced here.
Remember, Rick, the Kansas City game that ended at 3 in the morning this year, the turnaround that they had, that field, for all intents and purposes, was not playable when they played on it that night. Not many saw it because everybody was smart and in bed, which we should have been too. But it was not playable at that point in time, and it took them hours to get that field ready for the following day.
That particular night or morning, you and Al were in bed while I was doing the post game.
Oh,
and I know you would have.
You were on the post game.
We asked you to be a guest, but you said no.
I've never turned down being a guest.
At 4 in the morning?
However, that night I may have.
I know that our 3 viewers love that show.
It was over at Lumiere too, right?
It was.
Awesome. Well, you guys deserved it. Here's Peterson. Here's a sinking action on that pitch, and swung on and missed by Peterson, who flied out to right his first time up. But really couldn't happen to 2 better people.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Jim Hayes was part of that night when Yadier Molina came out to start extra innings whenever who knows what inning we were in. I don't remember, but Yadi was about 10 feet away from Jim. Looked at Jim and said, "What are you doing out here? Get away from us. We're ready to play." Jim was on the scene. See what the Cardinals have done the last 2 series early on and then late. Only 7 hits. You see there early in games. As Peterson looks at a ball, 1-2.
Peterson has not gotten on track yet at the big league level offensively, but big numbers at AAA this year.
A lot of that damage done against lefties. Homered against James Paxton in the minor leagues this year. And I'm sure that was part of the thought process of why Brock Peterson gets a start tonight. Trying to go with more right-handed bats in this lineup to face the lefty. The only lefty in the lineup is Matt Carpenter. He's taken some tough pitches here in this at bat. Very close, 2-2.
A little late a couple of times on the fastball too. He's going to have to turn it up a notch, and talked about the right-handers being very important and are keys to the game against the left-hander. The Cardinals have had some struggles against left-handed starters, and you wouldn't think they would. A
strikeout of Peterson. strikeout number 4. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Hello, Jim.
Dan, Pete Kozma had that base hit last night, scored the game-winning run. He struggled at the plate, but is hitting better of late. Kozma credits John Mabry for helping him get back on track. He says they worked a lot in the indoor cage on bunting. Kozma says bunting reps helped him change the way he visually tracks a pitch. Plus, he says bunting helps him in being more aware of the strike zone, but he is hitting better, Dan.
You know, Carlos Beltran has talked about that too at times in his career. He'll take a pitching machine, numbered balls, and then try to follow in and guess, if you can see it, the number as he just watches it all the way in. And Pete Kozma has been doing that, just, you know, basically doing that
in different form, but
right, with bunting.
But it's about tracking, and it's about vision, and we talk so much about so many of the physical skills of baseball, and we very rarely talk about the vision. And when you lose your vision, your ability to track the baseball, see the spin, see the depth perception as the ball's coming towards you, it's very difficult to hit. You have to train your eyes that way. Players will say, I'm not seeing the ball well. It doesn't mean they're not seeing it at all. It just means they're not able to track it clearly as it's coming towards the plate. And against some pitchers, it is difficult to see the ball well. They may hide the ball longer. You may not pick it up right away, so you're searching for it as it's coming out of his hand. Maybe the velocity that has something to do with it, or the spin is disguised on their changeup. But when a hitter's vision goes, so does their batting average.
There are guys, it's not uncommon when they hit the skids, they can't figure it out, no physical ailments. They'll go to the eye doctor and say, hey, my eyes, what's going on here? And there are players that then come away saying, I need to get glasses. It's happened before. It's not frequent, but it does happen. Little flare into right. Playing in was Gutierrez, and he makes the catch. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Shelby Miller, 13-9, gets the call for St. Louis, and we'll come your way 12:30 with the pregame show. Rob Johnson will be the pinch hitter for Waka.
Decent outing for Waka. 5 innings, just 2 runs. Not his best. Won't be his worst in his career. Giving his team a chance to win. See if the offense can bail him out. Really hasn't been much offense so far. You know, talking about eyesight, I remember as a 16-year-old reading somewhere in maybe it was a Sporting News publication about Rod Carew saying he never watched movies, never went to the movies because he wanted to save his eyesight. Now, I don't know the real value in that, whether that's true, whether that helps you or not, but at least in his mind, he did not want, he wanted to rest his eyes as often as possible, and he was hitting about 360 every year during those years. It worked for him, huh? So I kind of tried that for a while. I kind of stopped going to the movies, stopped watching, and I still couldn't hit. So it wasn't just that.
You gotta have a little talent too, huh?
I don't know that was in the article very clearly, or maybe I overlooked it.
Don't go to movies, and you too can be a Hall of Famer. Right. Little God-given ability that is mixed in there, but I do think there is some truth to it. Other players have talked about reading off a computer screen, how that has not been beneficial for them. We'll have a generation of players coming up that have been born and raised with computers, iPads.
The Dodgers every year in spring training had a little track with lights on it, and they would test you, and they would have the lights on like a track, like a runway track coming towards you, and you'd have to hit a toggle switch when that light hit a certain spot, and they would test your ability to track the light to that spot, and that was supposed to simulate whether or not you had the ability to be a good hitter.
That's pretty technical there.
Very much so.
Good at bat by Johnson. He draws a walk, and here come the Cardinals. Runners at first and second. Matt Carpenter with 2 outs. Carpenter has walked and also grounded out to third. Jose Tabata, a solo home run in the bottom of the 6th. And now they have moved to the 7th, and that game is tied up 1-1, Chicago and Pittsburgh. How about the Cubs? They are playing spoiler here down the stretch as you get a look at Matt Carpenter and Manny Machado, the outstanding third baseman for the Orioles, both with 49 doubles.
Only 9 Cardinals in the history of this franchise have hit 50 doubles, have had 50 double seasons. Not 9 different players, but 9 times a Cardinal player has had 50 or more doubles, and Carpenter on September 14th has 49. Joe Medwick twice. Stan Musial 3 times. Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House, in 1887.
Different Tip, I guess.
Enos Slaughter and Albert Pujols a couple of times.
Albert did it, I believe, in back-to-back years. Mid-2000s. As you guessed, Rick, and guessed spot on, Brad Miller. Mild strain of the left hamstring, and he is out of the ball game. Manny Machado's had a tremendous season. Chris Davis, another home run last night, 50 this season. In the 100 years plus of baseball history through 1990, think about this, there were 18 50 home run seasons. 23 years since, it's been done now 25 times. And that's when you talk about the steroid era and how it rewrites the record books. That is the beauty of this sport. And I think why so much attention gets put on when a player in this sport violates the drug policy as opposed to the NFL or whatever other sport you want to talk about. But it's a numbers game.
The numbers are almost sacred.
That's right.
To baseball fans, they are. And who would you rather have up in this situation than Matt Carpenter with the numbers he's posted with runners in scoring position? Maybe Alan Craig, who leads the National League in that department, but Carpenter is third with a RISP of 406. Right guy, right time.
Also hitting well above 350 here at Busch Stadium this year. And that's overall. 2-2 the count. And Carpenter strikes out. 2 in the inning, 5 tonight for the Mariners lefty. Someone out there has decided to give him another write-in vote. We appreciate that.
Ponce de Leon getting no love at all.
But Ahab.
I guess I could see that.
Yeah, I could too. Probably no one. Probably not well liked.
Oh boy.
Can't wait to go back to that later. Here's Tyler Lyons in our Chevy call to the pen.
I don't know much about Magellan, but I do know something about Tyler Lyons, our Chevy call to the bullpen. Been very good out of the Cardinals rotation. A couple starts that he made early this year. In fact, his first 2 starts were as good as any starts anybody's ever had in the history of the game. Hard to say that, but that's a fact. Low hit games, high strikeouts, low walks. Kind of settled in the bullpen, and he's really kind of found his slider, although we haven't seen much of him lately. But the last time we saw him, he found his slider again after coming back from Memphis. That was a pitch that kind of deserted him after those first couple of starts.
September 4th, last time that he has pitched. There's that slider there, breaking ball that's hit slowly to second. And Saunders is out number 1. Revisit our keys to the game.
Well, the keys to the game and not making those keys happen is the reason the Cardinals are trailing 2-0. Right-handed production versus a lefty. 2 hits in 5 innings is not production, so we'll put a big X there. And Waka off-speed command at times. I'm going to put a kind of a squiggly line there, kind of the infinity sign. I'm not sure what that means, but the point is he did it for the most part, but during a couple of innings the curveball left him and he seemed like he didn't have a way to kind of finish that inning, get the ground ball, get the double play. And Waka, decent outing, but right now trailing 2-0.
4 walks, including the walk to Paxton when he was trying to sacrifice, gave him an out. And then the double to the wall in left hit by Gutierrez. Zunino at the plate. Ground ball, backhanded by Freese. Not an easy play. 2 down. Well, you point to Michael Wacha having given up the 2 runs, the 4 walks stand out. Where is the Cardinals offense right now?
Waiting for the 6th inning.
Only 2 hits tonight. Lyons is intriguing in the fact that we saw him at his best. We've also seen him pitch poorly here, but very intriguing. And there's something about putting a lefty in a rotation. There's a nasty pitch there, and you just think about it strategy wise, what the opposing manager has to do with his lineups when you think about having a lefty. And hopefully we'll see that lefty be Jaime Garcia next year, if not Tyler Lyons. You never know.
When Lyons' slider is right, you could almost envision him as a left-handed specialist down the road. And I'm sure he wants to start. But I wonder if the Cardinals have thought about that as a plan B for Lyons. He's not an overpowering pitcher, but then again, neither is Randy Choate or Seth Maness. But they're very good in situations, and the slider is really what sets him apart.
Tough play here. Some English on that hop. Nicely done, Pete Kozma, on the one hopper that was slowly hit. A lot of English on the baseball, the spin, and Kozma makes the play. here recently where they've gotten the offense going. The in-game box score brought to you by Subway. Hit for Freeze. And also the pitcher Michael Walkup had an infield hit back in the third, and that's been the only hits for St. Louis tonight.
And for those that may have missed it earlier in this homestand, it's been a good homestand for the Cardinals, 6-1. But on Tuesday, Willie Peralta had a no-hitter for 5 2/3 innings. And on Wednesday, Marco Estrada had a no-hitter for 5 2/3 innings. So the Cardinals are really stymied in those 2 innings. And they also, here last night, had just 2 hits through 5 innings.
There's a fly ball out to center. That'll stay in the ballpark as Saunders makes the catch, and Shane Robinson is out number 1. It brings in Matt Holliday.
Plenty of time. Not worried yet, Dan. I have a good feeling about this game. And perhaps that comes from the fact that the Cardinals have had the late inning offense. A couple have come from behind victories under their belt now in the last few weeks. I think there was a time in the season that the Cardinals were trailing early. You had a feeling that the game was over. And when they scored early, they scored big and pounded teams. That was kind of their MO in the early part of the season.
Have you seen a pattern in which these opposing pitchers are going with as a way to get the Cardinals out? Is there a pattern that fits against St. Louis?
I don't think it's a pattern. No, I really don't. I don't think you can say anything other than Paxton's making very good pitches. He's executing, as did Iwakuma here last night. He was a pitch maker. There's a pitch just off the plate, and that's a perfect location. Might have been a strike on a 1-2 pitch, tailing away. He's not in the heart of the plate here. This is on the edge of the plate. Could have been called a strike even.
Two down the right field line, and not much hustle there by Gutierrez towards the end. I thought he could have made a play on that. You mentioned the motion where the glove is extended.
Yes.
You talk about deception. Any way to kind of get the timing?
That's how Mike Matheny described him in the video that they'd seen of him, is a guy who is kind of hides the ball well and is deceptive. The front glove, you watch that front glove, it goes high, kind of blocks off where his arm comes from.
There's another liner, and that'll be caught. Ooh, some hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it.
It's a little old school, in fact, the way Paxton throws the baseball. You think about Carl Hubble. To see a photo of Carl Hubble, you kind of lean back, you throw the front glove way high up in the air. Maybe Marichal did it some. A little bit more modern example, but that's the delivery of Paxton. Not much early in the motion, but there the lean back. A little bit of Andy Pettit in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Marichal was so exaggerated going upward, but Andy Pettit, you're right. Left-handed just like that, and his delivery towards the plate. Good call. season, and it's a cooler bag giveaway by the Shane Company, the Growth Poster Night, and then also you can get a free ticket to a future game in 2014. And that's the Sunday game on the 29th. The Cubs will be in town. Still some tickets available, so you know those are going to be taken up very quickly. And get yours at cardinals.com/promotions. So that'll be it for James Paxton.
Good.
Get him out of there.
I'm glad.
And here is Abraham Almonte. It was 97 pitches for Paxton. His night is through, and this guy is a speedster. Abraham Almonte.
Every time I hear his name, I think of that young Little League pitcher in New York who was playing in the Danny Almonte, who was
thinking the same thing
in the Little League World Series, and they found out, I believe he was 2 years older than he said he was. He was striking out guys left and right, about a head taller than everybody, shaving, driving to the Little League games.
He was the carpool.
And you know, in some ways, it's a sad story. You don't blame him, you blame the coaches and those who kind of influenced that above him.
Almonte, the wide turnaround first, he'll stay put.
Almonte has not been as good, nearly as good from the right side as he has the left side. But he was good here. Pitch down, rakes it, wants to run.
So leadoff hit against Tyler Lyons in his second inning of work in relief of Michael Wacha. This is Trienfeld, Carlos Trienfeld, who is now in the top spot, replacing Brad Miller. Better have your pronunciation guide with you if Seattle comes to town.
They never sign a guy named Smith.
Jones. And the bunt is down. Lyons underhands. Peterson got back to the bag, and there's the out. 1-3. Sacrifice is good. The sacrifice from their leadoff man has been a key here tonight. Happened back in the 5th. Here in the 7th, and it brings in Gutierrez, who has the 2 RBIs in this game.
Feel a little hope maybe surfacing here, Dan, with Paxton being out of the game?
I do.
I do. You wonder if the Cardinals sense that, fans sense that. When we play teams that are out of it, we talk about banking innings and young pitchers. In fact, one of the Seattle starters in their rotation, they've already shut him down. Taijuan Walker, who they also like, another young pitcher, but he's kind of out of innings, so they've just shut him down completely. And they may very well shut down Iwakuma, who's never thrown as many innings as he's thrown after his start here last night. And so you're facing teams that have a slightly different agenda than the Cardinals do at this point.
No doubt.
Could be an advantage.
0-2 with 1 out, runner at second base. The Pirates now lead their ball game 2-1. That's in the 7th. Marlon Byrd home run. Cincinnati has already posted a victory.
And started to say this earlier, but in the scoreboard watching, don't forget to check out the Dodger game every night and the Atlanta Brave game every night. That's going to become more and more important, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. The Cardinals continue to play well. They are tied currently with the LA Dodgers for same record if you're talking about home field advantage, 2 games behind Atlanta.
Rick, another team is Washington. Started play today, 4.5 games back. However, they're losing 5-1. That's in the 7th. So currently 5 games back of Cincinnati. Could be 5.5 before the night is through. The Cardinals still face them. That final homestand, it'll be Washington and Chicago.
Maybe a bit too late for the Nationals, but they're certainly making a run out.
2-2 is tapped foul. Rick has started the wave, and it's going prominently throughout the ballpark tonight.
I have participated in the wave before. Probably 15, 20 years ago.
You were in the bullpen?
No, I was no longer in the bullpen. I was in the stands watching games. I did my part as a Cardinal fan.
Check swing and a strikeout.
I kind of thought the wave was over, though, about 15, 20 years ago, is my point. Dan just participated in the wave on that last go around. Well done.
Thank you. Bucket list.
Climb Mount Everest, do the wave at Busch Stadium.
Doesn't get much better.
Learn a language. Man, you have some bucket list.
A swing and a miss by Seager. High aspirations over here, Horton. Seager has struck out twice and also walked. Crowd tonight 41,374. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
Another knee buckler there. The slider's really sharp for Tyler Lyons. I really can see him being a specialist someday out of the bullpen. And what you mentioned about a starter, though, Dan, you'd love to have a left-handed starter in your rotation. Jaime Garcia has been throwing lately. Where does he fit? There'll be a lot of arms vying for position next year, but as we have learned year after year after year, you never have enough of them.
Isn't that the truth?
There's Jaime.
One-two pitch. Doesn't chase. 2-2.
Something about getting to that plus 26 for the Cardinals. Bullpen action, Freeman and Manus. The Cardinals have been to 25 a few times. But they've never gotten to 26 games over 500 to win tonight, and they get there.
Rick, the Cardinals win every series, so even in Colorado, if they just drop a game there, who knows? They could split and pick up a sweep somewhere else, but they get to 96 wins. 96, in my mind, wins you the division.
You're talking about 10 out of the 15 games remaining, including tonight. 96, you win the division. I think that's right.
On the outside corner and a strikeout for Tyler Lyons. 2 in the inning, and it's time to stretch. Cardinals need some offense when we come back. Look at Ricky. A look at the AT Twitter poll. Who is your favorite Mariner? Captain Stubing has lost a vote. Is this final now?
This is final.
I've never, in the history of the AT Twitter poll, we have never.
Well, I think we did a recount. There was a hanging chat or something.
I figured as much.
And it didn't really count. But Gilligan, I'm so excited. Gilligan wins. Captain Crunch. Hundreds of voters, I'm told. Hundreds. And there were your results.
Not happy one bit. Stubing losing a vote? What? It's unheard of. But I did do the wave tonight, so things are okay.
How about some runs? Wilhelmsen, our Chevy called to the bullpen, has been their closer off and on. Their bullpen has really been a bit of a hodgepodge.
A fly ball into right that'll stay in the ballpark off the bat of Yadier Molina, 0 for 3 tonight. That's Almonte making the catch in right field. Charlie Furbush.
Wilhelmsen has 24 saves to lead the team. Farquhar with 13. They kind of alternate back and forth. I'm still just glad that we're not seeing Paxton anymore. And what that calls into play with the right-hander in the game now is Matt Adams, Colton Wong, Daniel Descalso, Adrian Chambers, John Jay. 5 left-handers on the bench for St. Louis.
Freeze with a high fly ball opposite way. Almonte is back in the catch. Route number 2. Here's what you're talking about. Adams now for Brock Peterson. Where was Nelson Cruz when you needed him? Almonte came up with a play, and you see the bullpen ERA. It's been a struggle out there for the Mariners.
Pretty similar, huh? Fly ball to right.
Yeah.
Long fly ball to right. What a great moment that was.
Teams that have suspended players have big decisions coming up. Nelson Cruz, Peralta with Detroit. Where do they fit in postseason play? 1-2 the count on Adams.
Well, the precedent that was set by the Giants last year with Melky Cabrera. Not sure every team necessarily is going to follow suit, but they just said they didn't want him. Now, he was a free agent to be, but he was the best hitter in the league.
And Dave Dombrowski has come out and said, at least in his case with Peralta, he's lost his job, but we will welcome him back. They picked up Iglesias, the slick infielder. 3-2. Look at the numbers for Peralta, pretty good. Well, late in a game, this is Matt Adams' time. He draws a walk. Will they pull back Pete Kozma? Tying run will come to the plate. When trailing after 6, Cardinals through August 12th, only 6 wins since then, 4. Descalso will pinch hit for Kozma.
Adrian Chambers kind of got that stat going in the right direction. Base hit to left field, a game winner. Matt Holliday, a game-winning hit within a week. After that, think about the extra innings, home runs by Matt Adams. There have been some good moments in the last month or so.
And that'll be it for the righty. We saw Furbush pitch in the ball game last night, and he'll come in and pitch in game number 2. He'll get Descalso when we come back.
Or will he?
These numbers brought to you by Chevy.
Victimized by that pop fly yesterday. Pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up an unearned run, walked a batter, struck out a batter, but really showed a good fastball. He's got good stuff. Strikeout pitcher out of the bullpen. Important situation here in the bottom of the 7th. The Cardinals trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. And I wondered whether the Cardinals would pinch hit for Daniel Descalso. Some right-handed alternatives. But Mike Matheny deciding to go with Daniel. You wonder if defense might be a factor in that decision. And of course, we're only in the 7th. But when you've got 10 guys on your bench, you get a chance to play around with it a little bit.
Cruz is on deck. Descalso, a big hit against Milwaukee the other night. Kinsler late in the game. The base hit to left to score a run.
In fact, I noticed that Eric Wedge, when he was getting ready to hand the ball to Furbush, before he handed it to him, he stepped out of the conversation that was on the mound and looked in the on-deck circle to see if Mike Matheny was pinch hitting for Descalso. Of course, from the defensive side, once you bring in a pitcher, you have to face a batter. Pinch hitter is not the same. The numbers lefties and righties for Daniel, under 200 against lefties. Part of the cat and mouse game that the pitcher has to face a batter. The pinch hitter can be pinch hit for at any time. Eric Wedge, really just good to see him managing again.
Health scare earlier this year, major one. 1-2 pitch. Daniel pops it up. The Cardinals strand their 5th runner of the night. 2-5-0 for the Mariners, 0-2-0 for St. Louis. Let's head to our studio and a Bommarito Sports Update. All right, thank you. And Lions still in the game. Third inning of work in relief of Waka. Kendrys Morales. And that's strike one. Pretty impressive so far from Tyler Lyons.
Good work. Couple of scoreless innings, 2 strikeouts, allowed just 1 hit.
I'm with you, though, Rick. You mentioned right away it's that breaking ball that can be so effective, and I think it's been really sharp here at times tonight.
Really has, and definitely good on left-handed batters. The changeup that he just showed us right there, more important against right-handed batters. Slider moves away from a left-hander, makes it hard to hit. Changeup normally moves away from right-handers. That one didn't move.
Oh, boy. 3-0 Seattle. That ball was crushed. Solo shot, 3-0 Seattle.
Lyons has very good movement on most of his pitches. We'll check this delivery and see if it moves. It's actually a slider. It looked like a changeup to me because it didn't break. It was a slider he meant to throw down and in, but it came out of his hand like a changeup because it never really broke. It just sat there. And much like the pitch that Zunino hit yesterday, just kind of an off-speed pitch in the middle of the plate, went a long way.
Banez hits it out to center, and Shane Robinson is there for the out, 1 away. It's pretty amazing, Rick, how fine a line a pitcher at this level walks in terms of you make a bad pitch, and in the minor leagues sometimes you get away with it. Maybe you pounce it in the ground or you get underneath it, but here they just don't miss it.
I've always felt like that's the best way to describe from a pitcher's point of view the difference between maybe even college and A-ball and AA, AA and AAA in the big leagues, has to do with what hitters do with your mistakes. And how many mistakes a pitcher makes is usually a good indication of the difference between A and AA and AAA in the big leagues. You can't make many here, and they don't. But they also don't miss many. The hitters are ready for them. I mean, they just are. And AA, you're going to hang a slider, and they're talented players in AA. They're all prospects in AA, but they're not fully developed yet. And they're going to maybe not be ready for that pitch, or not jump on it, or not quite know what to do with it yet. And again, that's part of the development of a baseball player, is making less mistakes as you go up the ladder.
Slowly hit to the left side, gloved by Freese, and the tag applied by Adams. Nice play, Matt Adams, for out number 2.
Off-balance throw by David Freese. Adams does come off the bag, sweep tag. It's always a scary play for a first baseman to make because your elbow's exposed. For years, the Cardinals were very tentative about allowing Albert Pujols to actually make that play. Didn't want him to get hurt. Thankfully, Adams wasn't there. And it's Manus time. Wait, we don't need a ground ball.
Maness, and this will be his 59th appearance. And remember, number one, he's right-handed, not a lefty specialist, and wasn't even with the club for quite some time at the beginning of the year. One pitch, you get your ground ball, and Adams again. Exactly what you were talking about, Rick. Let's hope he's all right. I mean, that is exactly the injury you were talking about with first baseman on those types of plays. Sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Lack of offense tonight for St. Louis with just 2 hits. And Rick mentioned the worries at times they would have with Albert Pujols. Well, we see this here with Matt Adams.
It's a play you worry about because the arm is extended and you can actually hurt your elbow and or your shoulder on that play, and we've seen that happen before, even guys with their wrist, because it's so exposed. You've kind of got nowhere to give with that. I mean, you try to give with the tag a bit, but you got the runner flying by, and let's just hope that Matt Adams is okay, and it's just a bit of a tweak.
We had a shot during the break. One of our cameras caught Adams in the dugout visiting with the Cardinals training staff. He was smiling and laughing, so
good.
Hopefully he's okay. Here is Tony Cruz. Cruz, the pinch hitter for the pitcher, Seth Maness. Justin Smoke is in the game. He is at first. Endy Chavez is in left field, takes over for Ibanez. Another fly ball hit out to shallow right. Catch is made.
Just imagine, Dan, that that's a right-handed first baseman's issue, not a left-handed, because if you are tagging with your left hand on a sweep tag, just picture that the glove's coming across your body. It's not being kind of locked into place by your body. But if your right arm is extended and the runner goes by on your left side, you get kind of stuck right there, and the injury can happen. Running out of time.
Here's Carpenter. Mariners still have to go through the heart of the lineup before this one is through. Carpenter on the first pitch hits it out of play. He struck out with 2 runners on to end the 5th. He has walked and also grounded out.
Usually when something starts late for the Cardinals, it starts with Matt Carpenter getting on board. The walk, the base hit, anything.
breaking ball that's pulled foul. Well pitched on both sides here tonight. Michael Wacha did walk 4. One of the big hits in this ball game was Franklin Gutierrez back in the 5th. Lined a double to the wall and left that scored 2. And Kendrys Morales home run to start the 8th. Solo shot. Carpenter base hit into right. On his way to second. Safe. He is something else. He is something else. 50 doubles. Matt Carpenter.
I was just about ready to yell, no, 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 like the guy shooting the 3-point shot from 60 feet away that goes in. The Cardinals need base runners, and he took a big chance there, but good instinct by Matt Carpenter. Just kind of grounds it to the right side, almost a half swing, and he has this sense that he might be able to get 2, and he takes off. Close play at second. The throw actually beats him there. Wow.
He should not be standing at second base.
But he is.
Wow, what a play is right. Here's Shane Robinson. Robinson, little bouncer, slowly hit right side, 2 away. Shane is 0 for 4 tonight. Brings in Holiday. 50 doubles for Matt Carpenter. Machado, by the way, did hit his 50th earlier today. So those two are tied.
Stan Musial hit 50 in 1946, 51 in 1944, 53 in 1953. Medwick did it twice in the 30s. Pujols, 2003, 2004, had 51 each of those years. The team record, Joe Medwick, 64.
That ball gets away. Here comes Carpenter by Matt Carpenter hustling to second. He generates a run. 3-1, Cardinals on the board. He's also done that a ton this season, scoring runs.
He sure has. 115 runs, leads the National League, and that whole run was Matt Carpenter.
You bet it was.
Talk about instant offense. Two nights in a row, they can't throw Matt Holliday a strike and a run scores.
Isn't that something?
Game winner last night.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnny Schlappman is here at the ball game and enjoying seeing that Matt Carpenter double. Johnny here with Will Mozeliak. I know Jeff and Debbie are watching, and Johnny's in good hands. He's in a box tonight. Pays to know the right people out here.
You bet.
Even when you're 9.
I think especially when you're 9. Good point.
1-2 pitch. In the dirt again, 2-2.
A hanger here and a long one for Holiday, and we have a very interesting ball game on our hands. Two-run deficit just feels so much better. You feel like you just get a base runner and a blast, and you're in it. Carpenter made that run happen by himself.
Check swing, did not go. Beltran on deck, 3-2 the count.
Hard to stop that bat when you're Matt Holliday. As strong as he is, as quick as his bat speed is.
Three-two pitch. And he walked him. The tying run comes to the plate in Beltran. Carlos Beltran is due. No doubt about that. He will hit from his, if you want to call it, weaker side.
Carl Willis going over the report on Carlos Beltran, former teammate of mine many moons ago.
Carlos with 7 home runs against these lefties, and his last home run was the 24th of August against Atlanta. Not that long ago, Rick.
Long enough.
Former teammate.
Also a former teammate of their hitting coach, Dave Hansen.
He definitely is not that long ago.
No,
what a great pinch hitter he was.
Yeah, he's an outstanding pinch hitter. And a good coach as well.
The tying run at the plate, Carlos Beltran. Holiday, short lead at first.
This is what you want, a chance.
1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield is deep, straight away. This may be the pitch of the game right here on 2-1.
Feel the same way.
Furbush has not had that plus breaking ball that you look for at times. Sit on the fastball, take it out of the ballpark. Gets the fastball that's outside, 3-1. Molina on deck.
Not missing by much, and that is what makes him such a good pitcher. He's staying away, away, away with movement away, away, away. Just exploding to the outside, but he's just missing that outside corner. Beltran a couple of home runs with this count. How about another?
Here it comes. Good rip.
Can we do that pitch over again? I want the same pitch, same batter, same moment. Oh, oh, just missed it.
Furbush, what does he want to come with here on 3-2?
I don't think he feels that good about his breaking ball right now. I think he's going to throw a fastball.
Here it is, the 3-2. And Beltran hits a fly ball into deep right center, but that'll be caught. Catch is made. Cardinals get on the board. As Carpenter scores on the wild pitch as he picked up double number 50.
post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Andy Bennett are standing by. The Cards struggle against another lefty starter. They'll break it down. They'll take a look at Michael Wacha's Night Plus. We'll have Mike Matheny's post-game comments as well. Cards down by a couple as we send it back to the booth. And Dan and Rick, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. Good stuff tonight. Cardinals trailing 3-1 here in the 9th inning. Dustin Ackley will be the hitter, and the Cardinals turn to our Chevy call to the pen, Fernando Salas.
Fourth pitcher for the Cardinals. We mentioned we haven't seen Tyler Lyons very much lately. Haven't seen much of Salas either. When he went back to AAA the last time, he was just lights out, and has his moments here where he's approaches the ability that we saw when he was the Cardinal closer for quite some time, a couple years ago. But he's had some moments where he's given up some big flies too. The Pirates win that game 2-1 over the Cubs, so they move to within a half a game of St. Louis, with Cincinnati 3 back. I mentioned they won already today.
So Garrett Cole, after falling behind in that game against Chicago, holds on for Pittsburgh, picks up the win. His 7th, a 2-1 final. Cincinnati over Milwaukee, 7-3. Ackley is 1 for 2. Three and 1 the count. Three and 2.
Favorite Mariner. Would Popeye come in third? Is it second or third?
I was only worried about one.
I know you were worried about Captain Stubing, but we're told third. The Cardinals need a little Popeye moment in the bottom of the 9th, don't they? Go to the spinach.
Yeah.
Open the can.
Yeah.
Guzzle it down. Go deep a couple times.
You're a fan of his girlfriend.
Olive oil.
She's a looker.
Size 0.
That pitch is popped back foul. Abraham Almonte. And the bunt is down. It's a beauty. Salas, no play. Kept in front by Adams. And the first two have reached. A walk and now a base hit.
One of the things they say about Almonte, not just the speed, they said he is a ridiculously good bunter. And talk about deadening a bunt. You can't deaden it any better than that. I mean, he did a perfect job of kind of not hitting that ball too hard off the bat, kind of giving with it, and just kind of had almost a clunking sound to it as it just went down the first base side, and the speed did the rest.
He's now 2 for 2. He was a pinch hitter back in the 7th and stayed in the game. Triunfel is at the top spot in this lineup. Took over for Brad Miller, injured his hamstring. 2 on, nobody out. And that ball gets away. The runners advance to second and third. Infield now has to come in.
Up and in, wow. Just kept riding up and in, and he actually bunted at that. Should be a strike. He did not pull the bat back until after the ball was past his bat.
And the home plate umpire is trying to change it now.
Well, you heard
to a strike.
You heard us say that.
No doubt.
I'm glad he was on it. That's good. That's good. That's a tough call for an umpire to make without help, frankly. But they got it right.
You're trying to see and whether or not he was hit by a pitch.
Yeah.
And then to be able to tell if he offered at it. Chico Trujillo is watching the ball game tonight and enjoying Cardinals baseball. Quintero is on deck, and Chico is hoping that the Cardinals can't come back, keep this 3-1.
Infield in, you cannot give up another run.
There's a line shot into right. The catch is made. Throw by Beltran to the plate, not in time, and both runners advance. 4-1 Seattle. So the RBI, and it's now a 4-1 Mariners lead.
Situational hitting, get the ball into the outfield, good things happen. With a runner at third base, Beltran, strong throw, but not nearly in time to get the speedy Ackley.
Infield still in. Quintero hitting for Furbush. One out. Infield in. The 0-1. Hit out of play. Nothing in 2.
These 2 late runs are really killers from a Cardinals point of view. A run in the 8th, home run by Kendrys Morales off of Tyler Lyons, and now they've added a run here in the 9th off of Fernando Salas. And sure would have liked to have gone into the bottom of the 9th trailing 2-1.
Here's an 0-2 on the outside corner and a strikeout. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Bet we see another pitcher.
That'll be it for Salas, and here comes Randy Choate. So the lefty coming on when we come back. Talking about a situational lefty, 58 appearances, and Seth Main is right there with Randy Choate in terms of appearances this year.
At this level, with Manus having the extra AAA experience to go along with it, which we tend to forget about. He had plenty of work there as well. Choate's been effective for the most part. In fact, he's been really good lately. Seems like his breaking pitch has been very sound. And here's his job, get a lefty.
It slices down the left field line, out of play. He wants to pitch as much as they want to throw him. Now, many times, and he's bounced around a bit, it has been managers that use him to face one hitter, not necessarily a full inning or an inning plus. He's talked about Joe Maddon really using him perfectly in Tampa Bay. There's a fly ball out to left, and Randy Choate does the job.
Easier to use him,
come back.
Easier to use him, by the way, when you're on a winning team.
"13 saves in 17 opportunities." As you alluded to, Rick, earlier, they've had kind of a situation where it's been not bullpen by committee, but different guys have done this job.
Yeah, dual closer role, really. And Wilhelmsen, we've already seen him. He had the 7th inning, or at least some of it. Leads the team in saves, but as of now, the job belongs to Farquhar. And he'll have Molina and Mr. Freeze to start the bottom of the 9th. It sure would be nice, Dan, if it was a one-run game right now. I keep saying that, but it just has such a different feel. It's not out of the question. Cardinals maybe have a big comeback up their sleeve, but a lot tougher to do when you trail by 3.
Farquhar, 13 saves, and here in September, the ERA is over 8. Quite a different story as opposed to what he did in August.
We don't need 8. We just need 4. We need half of that.
And Yachty hits it out to deep right center field, but tracking it down and making the play. Good speed out there, the center fielder of the Mariners, Michael Saunders. Cardinals couldn't solve James Paxton, and he's our Budweiser player of the game.
6 solid innings, just 2 hits. In fact, the Cardinals with just 3 hits through 8 1/3. 5 strikeouts. Paxton, our Budweiser player of the game, left-hander, giving us fits. the sense the ball's not carrying very well today?
Not today at all.
Well, I mean, the Morales home run carried. Well, maybe it didn't, because he crushed that ball and might have gone further, but it just seems like we've seen some gappers. That ball hit right there by Molina. I thought he hit it on the screws.
And Rick, the Cardinals, unless they can't come back tonight, if they lose this game, would drop to 6 games below 500 against left-handed starters. With the kind of right-handed bats they have, it's hard to imagine. 2 away. Redbirds down to their final out. A reminder, we're on the air tomorrow at 12:30. And the final hope is Adams. I'd be interested to see how he swings the bat. He's tied up at first on a play in which he had to apply a tag. And it was back-to-back plays in which he did that. And when he left the ball game, it looked to be a situation where he might be hurt. Cardinals down to their final strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's the ball game, and the Mariners take game 2. Adams caught looking. 4-1 our final tonight.
Really nothing offensively for the Cardinals tonight. Just 1 run on 3 hits. Bullpen falters a bit at the end. Not a bad start for Michael Wacha, but not as good as what we saw from the 24-year-old left-hander James Paxton.
2 hours 51 minutes. The Mariners defeat St. Louis.